Good morning. Hey, this is Mystery Girl. You're listening to Shut Up and Listen on WPKN 89.5 FM, WPKN.org, or you can listen on our phone app. I have a special guest on the line, Slug from Atmosphere. Are you there?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Why are you awake?
You know, I ask myself that question every day. I never really go to sleep, actually, so
Okay.
I'm pretty much always awake. How's your morning going so far, though?
Oh, so far so good. I've been awake for about 4 minutes.
Oh, all right. So I just
That's
caught...
perfect. I mean, I'm still laying in a bed right now.
I caught you right out of the gate.
Oh yeah, and I'm going back to bed after we get done talking. It's awesome.
Well, I'm jealous. I wish I was in bed right now.
You could do the show from bed. You could put a little bed right in the corner of the studio, and you could. I've seen the microphones there. They move around. You could totally just place it right in front of your head as your head's laying on a pillow.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm here all the time anyway, so I might as well get a little setup going, you know?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So anyway, let's just jump into it. So then the faster we do this, the faster you can get back to bed. I'm looking out for you over there. So first things first, you guys are on tour, the Freshwater Fly Fisherman tour. Did I get that right? That's a mouthful.
You did it well, actually. I've never been able to say it correctly.
All right, yeah, it's like say it fast 10 times.
I just say the triple F.
The triple F, I like that. So how's the tour going so far?
It's been good. You know, this is the second leg. We've only been out for about a week. All the shows have been fun so far on this leg. The first leg was great. I don't really have any complaints.
Right.
I look forward to getting there.
Well, that's always
good.
good.
There this weekend, and it's always a fun time there.
Right. No complaints are always good. You guys will be at Toad's Place this Friday, actually. You excited for that?
I'm excited for Toad's Place. I'm excited to, I can't remember the name of the spot, but there's a pizza spot down the street. I'm excited for that.
Right.
There's a record store about 4 miles out of town. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I have a good time in New Haven. It's a good place to make a party.
Right. I'm with you on the pizza, too, by the way. New Haven pizza is great. So I'm going to have to get... So I'll be stopping by the show, so I'm going to have to get some pizza, too, while I'm...
You're coming to the show?
I am coming to the show.
But you have to wake up so early in the morning.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I never sleep, so I might as well be doing something fun, right? You know?
Dig it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Fishing Blues. That's the latest release, right? The latest album you guys dropped, I think, in the summer?
Yeah.
Right. Right. So what's going on there? I listened to a couple of the tracks. I'm going to play some of them, although I can't play some of the ones I kind of want to because of the, I have some restrictions. But I was listening to some of them, and I actually watched the video for the seismic waves the other day, and I was thinking how appropriate that song kind of is for what's going on today, you know, after election and everything like that.
Yeah, I I'm not prepared to even. I haven't even fully grasped what took place last night yet. You know.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of wrapping my head around all of that. That was not expected. Did not expect I didn't expect the President TV show to end with that type of finale.
Yeah, me either. I was saying, you know, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. It's like, what? The Dolphins won the Super Bowl again?
The information as well, right?
I know I was actually up pretty late watching it, and I still expected to wake up this morning and to look at Twitter and realize that they messed up. They messed up. Yeah, but no, they really did mess up.
Yeah, it's like a bad dream, but we'll be all right. But anyway, but let's get away from politics. Let's talk about the Fishing Blues. What's your favorite track on there? Tell us about the album.
Impeach Trump I guess I don't know if I have a favorite. It's like asking me which one of my kids is my favorite. It's
That's true.
Deep down, I probably have a favorite child, but I'm scared to admit it to myself or to anybody else. I have feelings for all the songs on that project for different reasons. The Seismic Waves song is one of my favorites. Probably but I have reasons for why I like these things that other people probably wouldn't care to have me explain. The reason I like Seismic Waves is because the drums never come. I love the fact that the drums never come. Mm-hmm. It has a build up and a pace to it that expects for drums to show up, but they don't, and that makes me excited.
Right. I was actually going to ask you about the Seismic Waves. I was interested in just what inspired you. What inspired you to write that?
I would say the music did. When Anthony handed me the music, I stared at it for a while, trying to figure out, wow, is there something I could do to this? Because if you consider the music without the lyrics and just look at it like that, it might become easier to see like why I saw the challenge or the puzzle. So if you would say that, and I wanted to solve it, like what do you write to a song like that? Mm-hmm. And so from there, I think I likely wanted to say something about Prince. And this was before Prince had passed away. But I just, haven't really referenced him as much in my music as I do in just my day-to-day life. And so I wanted to somehow reference him over that beat, because that beat kind of reminded me of something that Prince might have worked on. I don't want to say it like that, but the beat gave me a Prince kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I just started writing words that rhyme. And you can kind of hear in the first verse, there's a lot of words that rhyme with Prince, actually. And then I guess after the song was completed, a few actually, probably almost a year after the song was completed, he passed away. And that made it weird, because it was like, well, do I change that line now, the one line that set it off? Right. And decided not to. Decided to keep it, even though I was nervous about feeling like I was exploiting this man's death. Yeah. But that's just me. I get super paranoid about almost everything that I write. I'm always like fine-combing through it and making sure that I'm not exploiting things.
Right. I mean, that's a reasonable fear to have, considering that, you're putting all of this out there for everyone to see. It's like you're kind of putting your diary out there, basically.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's like sort of like a cleansing, or do you sometimes feel that it's invasive? Artists put out their emotions.
I've never felt like I was doing a disservice to myself, but I don't really look at it like it's cleansing either. I write what I write for myself initially, just like probably most people in my position. And then secondarily, I write to make my partner laugh, Anthony, when the guy that makes the beats. If I can make him laugh at something that I said, then I know I scored. And then beyond that, I really don't have to consider anything else until after the project is finished. And then I have to stare at it and go, oh man, what am I going to have to answer for this time? or how is the label going to sell this? But in the process of, in the actual creative process, I think I do a pretty good job of insulating myself from worrying about if I'm showing too much skin, or if I'm, if I'm using defense mechanisms, or who knows what. I don't have to really consider any of that until after it's too late.
Right. I think that's part of just the rawness of putting that out there. But I do actually want to talk about just atmosphere and how you guys got your start. Just a little bit of the history that led you here. I know it's it started with you and someone who went by D-Spawn, right?
Yeah, he
I'm
did
taking
call
it way
himself
back.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine that I went to high school with.
Right. And then you actually didn't start off rapping. Correct me if I'm wrong, you were DJing and then you switched over to rapping?
I was DJing, and I always rapped.
Okay.
But in that particular group, I was the DJ because he needed a DJ, and so I knew how to DJ. As a kid, I developed a desire to want to do anything and everything that was, in any way hip hop related. So, I DJ'd, I wrote graffiti, I was a breakdancer, I could spin on my face. But as I got older, the rapping and the DJing became priorities. And then when I joined the group with Spawn, he asked me to be his DJ at first. And then in time, he asked me to just go ahead and rap.
Right.
Because I think technically I was a better rapper than I was a DJ anyway. It was just out of necessity that he had asked me to be his DJ. And it was out of necessity that I took it because I just wanted to, be active.
Yeah. At what point did Anthony join in and Despawn left eventually? I mean, at what point, how did that all unfold?
I think I met Anthony in 94, shortly after the birth of my first kid.
Oh, wow.
I met him through a mutual friend, another rapper named Beyond, and we just clicked. And so I introduced him to Spawn, and we three of us decided to forge forward as Atmosphere.
Right.
And Anthony never went away. He's been around ever since, 20-some years now.
Do you still keep in touch with Despawn?
Yeah, we do. We talk every so often. He showed up, and we had a 20-year anniversary show last year, and he showed up and performed some old songs with us and partied with us. It was good.
Oh, awesome. That's good. And then I know you guys, then eventually came the Rhymesayers label. How did that all come about?
I think that was another kind of out of necessity thing. We didn't have a lot of faith that anybody from any of the record labels on the coasts were going to care about rap groups from Minneapolis. And so we decided to kind of join together with a few other rap groups and go DIY and pool our resources and put our efforts into, getting our music heard by whoever we could get it heard by,
right.
Which ultimately, in the beginning it was our own city. We focused on that, and then it just organically grew from there.
Right. Your style is a little bit different than, I guess I'll say what the typical rap style would be. The demographic's a little bit different than what the typical rap style would be. You kind of have your own niche in that, was that a challenge, kind of putting yourself in this unique little niche that you created for yourself? And what were some of those challenges, if so?
Well, it wasn't always like that. In the 90s, I was a dime a dozen underground rapper. My style was very similar to probably the majority of my, I guess you would say, unknown contemporaries at the time. There was a whole movement of rappers like me. We were all the rappers that were like over your head like a rafter, and we were fly like a bug, and we were, and over time, in front of an audience, that was developing, my style began to change. And I would say that change started around 95 or 96. I was rapping. I've been rapping since the 80s. And in the 80s, all I did was try to sound like my heroes. The early 90s continued to try to sound like my heroes, but my tastes slowly changed. And so instead of trying to sound like LL Cool J, I started to sound like Hieroglyphics or some of the more like freestyle-orientated rap groups. And then when we started to gain an audience, in that same era, I started to develop my own voice. And so if there is anybody out there who's been listening since 1995, they could probably explain it as well. Like the style that I'm at now is very different from the style that I started with. And if you just kind of trace over the whole couple of decades there, it's continued to evolve and change. And I've always felt like that was natural, not to take anything away from any of the rappers that have sounded exactly the same for 20 years. But I always felt like, look, man, if you sound the same, if you're rapping about the same stuff that you were rapping about 20 years ago, then something stunted your personal growth.
Right.
It's either that or, you found something that worked and you stuck with it to appease an audience and continue to, make to have a dependable spot. And I don't know if that type of safety is what I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
I prefer this place where I can just be myself 100%, for better or for worse. And if people accept it, cool. And if they don't, that's okay too, because that's life.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I was going to ask you how you think your music has evolved, and no, so looking back on everything, where you are now, just reflecting on it. I mean, did you see yourself here? Did you know, I'm gonna make this happen, it's gonna work out, or did you just? Are you surprised that it's gotten this far?
I'm always surprised that it's gotten this far. When I was 16 years old, there was no such thing as a 44-year-old rapper. and so, it's like, to think about the trajectory. As a kid, I wanted to be LL Cool J. And as an adult, I don't even know what I want to be, because there's really no template for this. It's like I can look and I can find a couple of 44-year-old rappers who are still relevant and still doing this, but you can count them on two hands.
Right.
And I'm surprised, and I'm also excited because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I can't look at Jay-Z or Nas and say there's my blueprint for what I'm supposed to do. I can't even look at my colleagues. There's a few people who like LP, who's a little bit closer to me, who is still continuing to put out banging music with Run the Jewels and forage new ground. And I can't look to him and be like, okay, there's the template. It's like I have to still continue to create my own blueprint, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with that, that's a huge part. People always say, so when are you going to quit? And my joke is, when I get fired, when people finally are like, hey, we don't care anymore. But the truth is, even once they don't care anymore, I probably won't quit if it's still exciting. As long as I still am excited about what kind of mess I'm going to make tomorrow, I'm still in it to win it.
I like that. You got to do what makes you happy, right?
You got to do. You have to do, especially in these times.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to ask you. You have how many kids do you have?
Oh my goodness, like 500. I have three.
Yeah.
Sons.
What's it like balancing being a dad and being a rapper? I mean, those are two. It's an interesting combo. Yeah, like family man, rapper. What's that like, or is it really not that far from themselves?
I don't know what to compare it to, because I don't know anything else.
Right.
I've been a rapper for longer than I can, literally remember, and I've been a dad for 22 years now, 23 years, going on 23 years. And so for me, I just assume that it's similar to being a dad and being a plumber. You have this career that you take care of and you attempt to nurture because you enjoy it and you love it, but you also have this family that you want to spend your time with and that you want to nurture and take care of because you love it, and you just make it work. You just find a way to make it balance. You find a way to find that symmetry inside of it.
Yeah. Do your kids listen to your music?
The youngest ones do. I have my kids. I have one 22-year-old, and then I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Okay.
And the 6-year-old and the 2-year-old are still young enough to think that what daddy does is really cool. And the 22-year-old, he's old enough now to know that dad fell off. Dad was cool back in the day. Now, or I think a better way to put it was, like once he finished high school and found his own, I would say even towards the end of high school, like once he found his own voice and he found, the type of music books, movies, what spoke to him, then I was a cool dad, but it didn't really, it wasn't as relevant what I was doing musically, which is how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was 17, me and my dad had nothing in common as far as musical tastes go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're 17 and you're pumping the same music your dad's pumping, there's a good chance that you're probably doing drugs together. And that's just not cool. That's not cool. Like,
that's good. That's funny. No, I know exactly what you mean, though. So we only have we have a few minutes left here, but I do want to ask you this question. What would you say is your most memorable line? Or, is there like a line from your music that just you'll always remember that really sticks out to you or really resonates with you?
Oh, man.
I know, that's...
you realize I've got like 1,000 songs.
There might not be one, but for some people I know there are just certain things that, like I'll never forget that one, that kind of thing.
The things that really resonate with me are the ones that when I meet people at the shows and they pull me aside to show me a tattoo of one of our lines, those are the things that resonate with me most, because it's like, well, it's one thing for you to, music saves all of our lives, but when you permanently, via scarification, put it on your skin, that gets pretty intense.
Yeah.
And, so I make note of like which lines show up most often on people's skin. And the one that I think that I've seen more times than anything is the line that says life, love, stress, and setbacks. Now, I don't know if that's my favorite line. I don't know if I have a favorite line, but when I see that on somebody's skin, I have an understanding of why it's there. I don't even have to ask, and I can appreciate that a lot.
Right.
Not that I'm suggesting or even trying to I don't necessarily advocate for people having tattoos, especially tattoos that are related to us, because I don't need that pressure on me. But in the same breath, when I do see it, I have an understanding of why that person got that, and there's a connection there suddenly between me and that person, and I think that's important to see for what it is, And I try to keep in mind that, look, it's not because of me that they have this tattoo. It's because they looked for something in music and they found it in the particular artist that they found it from. That's irrelevant. What is relevant is that some music saved their life, and that's that's powerful.
Right. Oh, well, this is a great interview. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for calling in. Now I'm going to let you go back to sleep, and want to remind everyone you guys will be, Atmosphere will be at Toad's Place this Friday. So, yeah, let people know to check you guys out. Thanks so much, though.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great morning, and make sure you take a nap later.
I will. All right.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.